Ambassador, I really, from the bottom of my heart, can't tell you how grateful I am. And congratulations on the administration's success. It means a lot to have you here with us. And this concept came about from one idea, the principles of the Abraham Accord. And we brought it to the World Economic Forum. I'm going to thank Dustin because he's been a tremendous supporter. Next year, we're going to do this bigger as well. Love you, have you on that journey with us. I'm going to ask Dustin to ask a few questions. For your support, I'm grateful on behalf of all the team to have the US Ambassador with us. Big round of applause, please.
Thank you very much.
To have him come and join us means a lot.
So I
United States to the Switzerland.
All right, so I have this incredible opportunity of also calling him a friend. He is truly one of the wisest men I know, and I have relied on him many, many times for his counsel. So we are here in Abraham House. Would you talk about the president's position and the administration's position of what's happening in the Middle East, and maybe also talk about the Ukrainian conflict as well?
So thank you for having us. This is great, David, to be here, and thank you for doing this, a critically important message for the people here in Davos to hear for sure. As you know, President Trump, I was his ambassador in the first term to Switzerland and Liechtenstein, and I worked very closely. I had the honor to be in a delegation he sent to Israel for the March of the Living. We went into Poland and did the services there, then went on to Jerusalem with Ambassador Friedman, who was played a key role in the Abraham Accords. I was recently quoted in the Wall Street Journal. These reporters love to write these terrible stories about how Jared is some creature in the background and pulling all the levers. Jared is, without a doubt, one of the most knowledgeable, critical people, I think, in the peace between the Middle East and the Abraham Accord production of those agreements. I told the reporter, I said, look, you want to sit and write a negative story? I'm going to tell you, as an ambassador, any issue that came up in the Middle East, if I needed to know what was going on, I would call Jared. Because Jared, the president's son-in-law, was integral to helping bring the different parties together. He's got relationships in Saudi and UAE, all over the world, all over the Middle East, and within Israel. So he had the trust of everyone. And I think Jared was instrumental, along with Ambassador Friedman, in driving home the reality that there needs to be peace. The president's policies are that peace, freedom, liberty need to be spread throughout the world. That escalating these wars is nonsensical. It's in the 21st century when we escalate war to a point where in the 21st century we have the weapons we do. We're talking about ending the world if it gets to an insane posture that it could possibly go to. So my point about the president today in Abraham Accords, the great thing we have is a roadmap. Where is the president going to go is the frequent question we get. If you want to know where you go, look where he's been. 4 years of phenomenal success, driving it home, making it clear terrorism has no place in the Middle East. Whether it's Hamas, Hezbollah, the problems in Yemen with the Houthis, these are the issues that this president is dedicated to solving and working to ensure the peace and prosperity throughout the Middle East prospers.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. So then I have to ask, you've been working with the president closely on the appointees. Are there any appointees that for you makes you incredibly excited about in terms of the global conditions of world finance?
I'm extremely excited. My neighbor in Charleston, South Carolina is Scott Bessent, who's the new Secretary of the Treasury. Scott is one of the brightest minds out there, probably the brightest Secretary of Treasury we've ever had from a micro and a macro view of the economy. He's absolutely brilliant. The president trusts him. He worked closely with the president on putting together the economic plan that the president's pursuing. So Scott Bessent will be someone to watch. If you noticed, when he was announced and nominated by the president, the market went up. The direct correlations between confidence in the markets and Scott Bessent and the president's policies, I think, are what will drive for many of you, Europeans, people from Asia, all over the world. So, as goes the United States, so goes the world on the economy. And I think we have an amazing future looking forward as we see that kind of talent coming in and being willing to serve.
So as we're coming to the close of this fireside, would you talk a little bit about Stargate? You have this incredible relationship with Elon and a number of other of the tech giants. Talk about the president's position and the administration's position on artificial intelligence.
Well, the president has a great relationship with Elon. Elon is obviously the wealthiest man in the world, one of the most innovative, brilliant minds that this century will see, I think. I think where we go with AI and technology is extremely encouraging, that we've finally gotten to a place where over the last week I was in the inaugural events, and there were people who were traditionally very left-wing Democrats, and everyone from Zuckerberg to Bezos and others, all coming together within the president's realm to work toward the president's agenda of opportunity and improving this economy. We're finally at a place where this is no longer a partisan issue. The idea of prosperity and moving the agenda forward with Stargate and other technologies is that it has no partisan need. There's no need to be partisan. Focus on the technology, focus on the future, let the politics stay out of it. And that, I think, is the great thing. We're seeing President Trump really have some great success moving it forward with.
So my final question for you, sir, is you've been here in Davos the past couple days, and I have this incredible opportunity to work alongside of you at times. What has been the global temperature regarding Donald Trump?
Well, I did an interview with Bloomberg yesterday, and they asked me that question. It was a good question. Because you never know. As ambassador, I come to Davos every year, and I see the different trends and cycles. But this Davos was very unpredictable, because if you read the media in Europe, you would think that this deep, dark world was emerging under Donald Trump. The New York Times, one of the darkest inaugural speeches that ever happened. Meanwhile, the American people are embracing it, thinking it's a great path to the future, a new day. The fact is that I am impressed with the fact that business and other leaders that I've engaged with over dinners, lunches, meetings, are extremely optimistic. You may like Donald Trump, you may not like Donald Trump, but the one thing that is clear is that the future is going to be a new future, where we actually know what the president means and what he's saying, and he will be totally engaged in the international community and the economics of the world. That is a good thing. And I think that gives optimism to everyone. The reporter actually said, that is the sense we're getting as well. All the people who are interviewing on Bloomberg saying the amazing thing about this Davos is the optimism. Democrats, leftists, right wing, it's a new day, new opportunities. Let's seize them and make it a great world.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. Handing it back to you, Daniel.
A genuine, sincere thank you from all of us. A round of applause for the ambassador to have him come and join us at the Abraham House. The vision and the reason why we did this, ambassador, is because there was one difference between this project and everyone that supported it and got behind us, that you had to make a pledge. One pledge if you came on this stage, and we got over 50 pledges over the last 3 days to move forward the Abraham Accords and the Abraham House project. So I just want to say, I'll share those with you. I'd like to work with you on this project and this journey, how we elevate this movement as an initiative that goes around the world. And it will be a pop-up space at major conferences around the world to create an environment for people to talk about the key issues, but also to address them and pledge to make a difference. And that's what makes this initiative different with Abraham House.
Well, and I'll tell you, David, I think with the work that you're doing is critical. I'm sorry? Daniel.
Well, actually, David is my Hebrew name. David is my Hebrew name.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the president's priorities for the international community, and he'll speak about this in about an hour, is the peace in Ukraine and Russia and peace in the Middle East. We will get through this extremely successfully, because a man like Donald Trump, who I've known many years, who's dedicated to that kind of peace, who is a businessman who doesn't use 10 years of negotiations through the State Department to get to resolution. He picks up the phone, he talks to the leaders, and he gets it done. And that's the difference we're going to see between what we've dealt with for the last 4 years and what we're going to see in the next 4. Amazing peace and prosperity, and a 21st century that's unchained for all of us to prosper.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so much, Ambassador.
Thank you, everybody here, to those tuning in.
Thank you so much, everyone live, to join this. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you, El.
We'll do a quick picture now, and then we'll close out. Okay, the ambassador said he'll stay for a couple of questions. Okay.
I'm a big boy.
Wait. I'd like Greenwich Economic Forum. Is anyone here from Greenwich Economic Forum? Where are the guys here? Jim, go ahead. I'd like you to, explain who you are, please, and why this is so important, the Abraham House.
So I'm Jim Aiello. I'm one of the co-founders of the Greenwich Economic Forum. We're a hedge fund private equity alternative investment conference in Greenwich. around the world. We're thrilled to do this partnership with Daniel at Abraham House. Wonderful cause. I think you're right. The way you characterize it, there's a sense of hope and change. What do you see as the biggest risks relating, especially to the Ukraine situation? Well, especially, let's focus on Ukraine. Let's do what do you think the biggest risks are?
Sure. I think the greatest risk is that the West, Europe, does not understand the need to stay together. The U.S. will speak with great clarity. The greatest risk is that Europe has a disparate view in its different countries that doesn't solidify behind a peace. When you come to the table in negotiations, every diplomat understands, when you negotiate, both parties leave unhappy. If both parties, one leaves happy, the other not, you don't have an agreement that lasts. When people concede and can give concessions in a negotiation, you have them both having to concede. And that's what's going to happen with Ukraine and Russia to have a successful negotiation and conclusion. So the West needs to be solidly behind this, and that is the great X factor as we move forward. The president has spoken with clarity throughout the campaign. Rest assured, the American people are done funding this war and other wars. We have problems in our own country that the president intends to focus on, making America great again, and that is our priority. Because if America is not great, the world is in jeopardy.
100%.
And that is a bottom line.
We thank you. Thank you. I'm going to let you go because I'm so respectful. Do you want to ask one more question?
You have a question.
Go ahead, Dimitrov. The ambassador's going to take your question.
So, what would you advise the young leaders of Europe? I know one guy, his name is Phineas, and he works closely with Elon Musk. He live streams from the European Parliament, and he tries to bring this American idea of peace and also of deregulation to Europe. What can us young entrepreneurs and leaders of Europe do to make this happen?
The young entrepreneurs and the future generations are the key here, because unfortunately in America, I think our youth, my son is 30 years old. The education he got was at home, because the one in the colleges and universities were teaching him crazy things. He didn't understand how the world and how economists could actually teach some of the crazy socialist views that they were being inculcated with. So your generation needs to get outside academia, look and work and understand how business really works, and understand that freedom and democracy is the critical fundamental future for them, because otherwise other forces will take control. And I think that's our greatest challenge for the youth. Understand, educate, take the responsibility among yourselves.
Dr. Wu from Surfin, CEO of Surfin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for attending Abraham House. And I'm a surfing group CEO, founder, youngpreneur.
Yes.
But I'm not young anymore, but it's my first entrepreneurship, headquartered in Singapore. So I appreciate what you just mentioned about the world views. My question is about U.S.-China relationship. How much tariff President Trump will raise?
Well,
and how was the Europe going to, what's the position of Europe during this China-U.S. relationship?
I think in the end, the president's been very clear. The other thing I said is that the president won't negotiate for 10 years. He'll pick up the phone and deal with Xi Jinping directly. Make no bones about it, the president believes that free trade is important, with reciprocity. If both countries are trading with a reciprocal arrangement, there'll be no problems. But the United States is done paying tariffs while others take advantage of the United States. The president has spoken with clarity. That will happen in every country in the world. We want free trade, we want fair trade, and we want reciprocity. And that's the president's position, and it's been very clear. So I think I have optimism, because Xi and President Trump got along very well before COVID. I hope we will restore that confidence.
And thank you for your support on behalf of the Trump administration for the Abraham House.